You know, sometimes in life, it seems like there's zombie takeout, like podcasters trapped in a maze designed by Neil Breen.
Hello and welcome to episode 563 of Zombie Takeout.
Zombie takeout.
I'm John.
And hello, I'm Scotto.
And before we get to this week's movie, just want to mention a couple of things. First off, I called it with regard to the Amazing Digital Circus when I said that they were just the consciousnesses of the real people uploaded into the computer, and the real people had gone on about their lives. That, for those who didn't see it, and frankly, if you haven't seen the end of the Digital Circus by now, you don't care about Digital Circus. So we're not.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about spoiling anything. Um,
It is definitely worth checking out, even if we've spoiled it for you.
it went up on YouTube on June 19th. So and it is also, even if it's spoiled, it's not going to ruin anything.
Right.
But yeah, they turned out. We found out very early in the last episode they were consciousnesses. Uh, that last episode was fucking perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. I mean, they're kind of avatars in a way,
Yeah.
and I guess, you know, we don't think about how much information we've uploaded
Mhm.
in in there that's just floating around
Yeah.
and what becomes of it.
hmm and I have a whole like headcanon movie where the live action actors at the end or characters, the real people at the bus stop at the end. They meet up at that bus stop every day. Eventually, they start to talk. Riley recognizes Lee from the bar. Yada yada. They start hanging
Yeah.
out. Eventually, they start talking about all finding this headset. And Grant puts it together and is like, "Oh fuck." Meanwhile, in the circus, they find out there are other circuses. It's not just them.
Of course.
And so the group in the circus sets out to try to communicate with the other circuses. The group in the real world tries to communicate with the thems in the circus. I just have this whole thing in my head. Incidentally, all but one of the live action actors is based in Chicago.
Really? Wait, all of them but one?
The only one who's not based in Chicago is Kaylin Hudson, who played Susie slash Ragatha. The rest of them are all based in Chicago.
Holy shit, I've got to like look and see if I've seen them in anything around here.
Uh, the only one whose real name I can remember offhand is Ben Bishop, King or
Yeah.
Grant. Um, the rest are blanking, but yeah, look it up. The names are all in the final episode in the credits.
Man, crazy theater going on around Chicago right now. I
Mhm.
saw like Gary Cole in something. I've
Nice.
seen Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally with Cedric Yarborough from Reno 911.
Wow. And one more thing to get to before this week's movie, because it came out I think today. Yeah, and we have to get into it. Because it's George Lucas, and of course we have to talk about anything significant regarding George Lucas. He said, amongst other things to do with test audiences, which is very typically Lucas and not worth getting into, that, and I'm paraphrasing, I'll find a source article by the time this episode goes out, that AI is inevitable and rejecting it is like rejecting cars in favor of the horse and buggy. Lucas has always been a little too gung ho about new technology, so this
Yeah.
shouldn't be surprising, but I can't help being a bit disappointed.
Well, I mean, the whole thing of CGI replacing so many practical effects
Hmm.
people, it's really just going to be the same thing.
Yeah, and I also can't help being reminded of what he told Ron Howard when Howard told him that he had been accepted to UCLA Film School. Um, he told him to go into animation so that he wouldn't have to work with actors.
Well, that's where it'll get dangerous when we start, replacing actors with
We already
the
are.
AI. And there is like I forget the AI actress that
Mm-hmm.
they've
Yeah,
got a movie that they're
yeah.
putting together with her, and it's just, I mean, it's going to be a cartoon then, Let's be honest, that's what it is.
Ah, and it's not. I'm paraphrasing somebody I saw on Threads. anything created by AI is created by humans. It's just created
Yeah.
by many, many humans in this big slop that is not getting credited and is getting twisted. Same thing with all generative AI. And that Ron Howard thing came directly from an interview I saw with Ron Howard. That's not secondhand at all. He said that exactly.
But I do understand where Lucas is coming from with using it for filmmaking because he wants to try to make the filmmaking act as affordable as possible. That was the whole thing with when he discovered CGI and he could,
Uh,
really expand those things that he wanted in the original
right, right,
trilogy
yeah,
that he
yeah.
never got a chance to put in.
Oh, yeah, I totally get that. And then this control freak thing.
Yeah,
I don't remember, if this was the case when he owned Star Wars, but was he particularly litigious? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Because it is all stolen, and that's my whole issue as a creator, as an artist myself. That's my big issue with AI is the theft.
I don't think he was.
Okay.
I mean, I just seen something with Frank Herbert,
Mm-hmm.
had been tempted to sue him,
Uh huh. Right. Yeah.
to quote Chris Rock or paraphrase Chris Rock
Yeah.
in Dogma.
Uh, Frank Herbert gonna sue somebody's ass.
Or it wasn't Dogma, no, it
Jay
was
Silent Bob.
yeah, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Anyway, on to this week's movie, which is Hunt for the Wilder People, or I should say Wilder People, because they messed it up slightly. I'll complain about that later. Yes, I'm being incredibly pedantic, but this is our Sam Neill tribute. He passed away recently.
Part one.
Part one, yes. There will be a part two next time. More on that later.
Not everybody gets the two-part
No.
treatment, like Roddy Piper. I'm trying
Mhm.
to remember who else we've done it for, but Neil is definitely
Yeah.
a guy that deserves it.
And I came up with the movie that will be part two, like initially, as soon as I heard that he'd passed, because I'd wanted to review it for ages. I mentioned it to Scott. Scott came back with this movie, and I watched the trailer. I'm like, no, this is the right one.
Yeah.
And then you said, I wish I could do both. I'm like, two-parter.
Because yeah, you're pitching next week, so I'm like, holy shit, that's really good. Of course it's good. It's fucking
Yeah.
Sam Neill.
Yeah.
I mean, we should do the Omen trilogy just so we do his too.
Oh, wow. Of course, that brings us to the impromptu pause summary, sponsored by running away from your problems. Of course, it always fixes everything.
And also brought to you by Scroggin, a delicious treat, but not really worth jumping over a ravine for.
It'll keep you going for a few months.
All right, so we have a young kid who's been in and out of foster homes, sort of the delinquent, acting out graffiti or what they had. It was kind of like the El Tuco from The Good, the Bad, the Ugly,
Mm-hmm.
where cheating at cards, playing at cards. Uh, so he's pretty much in his last chance before getting hauled off to juvie, and that last chance is this nice woman who lives out in the pretty much in the middle of nowhere, and she of course is just the nicest woman you're ever gonna see, and that even pretty much is just like, sure, run away if you want. Like, where are you gonna go anyway? Kind of thing. Just come back in time for breakfast. And just giving him as much room as he needs, and being there for him as much as she could be without smothering. And she had a husband. I think they were actually married. And but he was well, he is the opposite. Kind of goes away for long stretches of time and just he just lives out in the wild and comes back with something, here and there.
The word
Um,
irascible gets overused, but it could not be more appropriate in this case.
it's a man of very few words,
Yes,
you
that
know.
too.
Um, and of course doesn't like a whole lot of chatter and whatnot. Um, the him and the boy really, of course, don't like each other. He is just, well, the boy is just kind of weirded out by him, and he just doesn't have any time or to suffer the gangster life of this this young 13-year-old suburbanite. But they something terrible happens. Bella, the nice woman, suddenly passes away, and well, the two of them are just kind of out there on their own. And even worse, he, of course, had felt very comfortable and at home there. But the worst part was that the foster services were going to come and get him. And, well, heck, the gruff old man is pretty much just, well, what can you do? I can't like raise you and stuff. The guy can't even read or anything. He just knows how to go out into the bush and live off the land, but he doesn't know nothing about birth and no babies. So our young hero Ricky takes things into his own hands and goes off into the wilderness on his own. He tried escaping a few times, but didn't make it very far. But this time, he uh, he has a mission. He's taking the ashes of Bella, and he's going to try to bring them to uh, the lake that she described to him, where people go when they die. And so he goes on this quest. He's not very good in the land, of course. Has a loaf of bread, but kind of burns through it pretty quickly.
He's a 13-year-old
Luckily,
suburban kid.
yeah, yeah. I wonder how far I would have
Mm,
been able to have rationed stuff back then too.
I'd have
Uh,
been dead in 2 days.
luckily, luckily, Heck finds him, of course. They both have a dog each of their own, so they kind of help out with things. And Heck, is about to take him back, but the kid pisses him off so much that he is about to probably hit him, but twists his ankle instead
I
and
think he actually broke it.
becomes, yeah, probably. He probably broke it. Uh, he caught it like on a log,
Hmm.
you know, ready to strike at him. And yeah, so he had to stay off it for a few weeks. Luckily, he could still get food even though he couldn't walk.
Hmm.
The size of the eel he got, oh man, I remember fishing for eel as a kid. Those bastards would fight. And they were probably about half the size of the one that he had, which I think he just got with his bare hands.
And this isn't the kind of movie you really nitpick, but heck, when he breaks his ankle, there's no splint involved that we ever see.
That's true. Yeah, there's no, I mean, he's off it, but they don't really splint it to set it.
Because I was expecting him to tell the kid to get some wood for a splint.
Yeah, yeah, that would make sense. He'd probably be, I mean, he did kind of hobble a bit after that. He never
Well, yeah, he never
really
fully
healed
recovered, but yeah.
100%.
But it was just a little, yeah. There's a few little things I'm gonna nitpick, but not any kind of serious way.
But
Just
there are people that do that, like barehanded can like grab a fish or
oh yeah,
something in there. I'm not sure about an eel though, because an eel's a motherfucker.
yeah. I'm not questioning Heck's outdoor skills. And I'm sure he could
Yeah.
have caught that eel. It's just the not splinting the ankle seems it doesn't seem like it would go very well.
I think realism, the most obvious thing in this movie
Hmm.
is that Ricky would have lost a lot of weight
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah.
living off the land
Hmm.
for months and hiking every day
Hmm.
and only having, so much food
Right.
that they got between them. Um, let's see, where was I in the impromptu plot summary?
So the ankle.
Yes. So they apparently do like weeks later, they get back up and they are moving around. No one can seem to find them. Um, and of course, realism, how much would they've really spent on finding the kid out there,
Right.
even if he was in danger?
Hmm.
It's like, well, especially when they're talking about his record and stuff,
Yeah.
the people when
Uh,
the child service
right
woman
now.
is on TV describing the kid, how many people be like, why do we fucking want to bring
Yeah.
him back?
It's well established. If it doesn't work out with Heck and Bella, he's going back to juvie.
Yeah,
He's run out of chances. So, yeah, they would not have wasted the resources to find this kid. They would have just written him
right.
off. Yeah, here's a mouth we don't have to feed.
And it was pretty obvious that he's the one, I mean, that torched the barn to
Mm-hmm.
run,
Yep.
Like Heck wouldn't have torched his own barn.
Right.
The kid set up a dummy,
Hey, boy.
a hay boy, obviously made up by a kid,
Yeah.
and the idiot uses something that wasn't flammable as the head, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they just find this hay boy head with
And
the
this
face
is the
drawn on it.
interest. And this is the interesting thing, because he's supposed to be this delinquent, but he's got no street smarts.
Well, you know how,
Granted, yes, he's 13.
you
Fair point.
yeah. There's so many kids that,
Yeah.
they watched and listened to enough
Well,
stuff,
and
but,
it's not him thinking he's a gangster. That's perfectly reasonable for a 13-year-old kid to think he's better than he is. Um, but they establish he's done
he
all
was
of this
able to
stuff.
hotwire the
True.
he was able to hotwire
Yeah.
the truck
Trump.
pretty quickly.
Yeah. Um, but they establish he's done all of this stuff. He's gotten in all this trouble, and maybe that's why he's gotten in all the trouble. He doesn't have the smarts to
Yeah.
avoid it.
He just, I mean, it was more of acting out
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
anything
Right. Right.
else,
Yeah.
than the
Uh,
actual thug life.
anyway, on to the hut.
Yes, they go to the hut, or they find a hut kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it has some outdoorsmen who recognize them, and I don't think the bounty was on their heads just yet. But they wanted to be heroes and be
Mm,
famous, of course.
right.
That's kind of a running theme through this movie about like the opportunity to be famous or infamous. They
Mm,
talk about like taking a picture of a rare bird, and these people, have the idea that they, start pinning a story on Heck,
right.
that obviously isn't true.
Huh,
And but who cares if we can become famous off it?
right.
But of course, they're surprised when Ricky, you know, grabs a gun on them and forces their hand, and they make their escape. So I'm trying to remember where they go after this. They don't run into Psycho Sam yet,
No, that's at
right?
the end. Was it the second hut?
Yeah,
What had happened between the first and second hut? Was there anything
that's right.
significant?
They find another hut. Only this time there is a ranger that lives in the hut, but he's in some sort of state of shock, and they elect to, well, Heck is going to watch over him, and he sends Ricky to get help, which, I mean, doing this, of course, means they're, putting their whole
Right.
thing at risk, for getting caught. But Heck wants to save this man's life, and they wind up doing it. And they wind up even somehow evading the law at the same point. Now, Ricky winds up at he winds up at this house to call for help. It's a girl a little maybe around the same age.
Mm,
I wanted to say older, but then again, girls age
yeah.
more
Uh-huh.
faster than boys, so they probably were about the same age. But she just seemed more mature because that's just life.
And we get the impression she basically raises herself once we meet her father.
Yeah, we never get to see her mother, even though there's a few scenes with
Mm.
them. Um,
And and,
and yeah,
and Ricky's a little undermatured for his age.
yeah. And that, I mean, that's just being a 13-year-old boy, really.
Oh yeah, probably.
But this is where Ricky finds out they're famous,
Mm,
like
yeah.
he's expecting they're gonna, he's shocked at first that he's recognized and thinks that the game is up. But really, it's the whole,
Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde sort of thing
Hmm.
where they're heroes among, the people.
Her father wants to take a bunch of selfies with him to prove that they met him because he can be famous.
Right, exactly. And yeah, that's part of how they get away from the law is that, she brings him back, drops him discreetly, and they wander the wilderness alone for a bit, Heck and Ricky separately until they somehow run into each other. Actually, it's not somehow. He remembers where Heck's advice about
Mm.
surviving the bush is finding the high ground
Right, right.
and, keeping your clothes on.
Mm.
And he follows that advice and then they run into each other. And of course they somehow run into the the sportsman again, the outdoorsman, and this time there is a bounty on their heads for $10,000, and they're determined to get him, and they somehow evade them yet again. And this time they run into an eccentric out there, uh, Reese Darby.
Mm.
If you haven't watched Our Flag Means Death, you should.
Mm.
And,
Reese Darby doing a great Ian Anderson impression.
yes. Why do you think he calls himself Psycho Sam? And leads to this big confrontation in his pickup truck, um, and the military and police and whatever they
Mm.
throw at them, and hilarity ensues.
Mm. Love that opening song. The music in this movie is brilliant. And
It is.
Waititi has
It is.
a tendency to pick great songs for his movies. Um, Loved Neil's entrance, Hector with the boar on his back, walking up.
Yes, he's giving that piggy. Uh,
Piggyback ride.
he's giving that pig a piggyback ride.
And I have to wonder if the boars in this movie, the supposedly live ones, were real or animatronic or CG, because I can't imagine they were real boars.
Someone on IMDb said that it became obvious at one point that there was a man in a
Okay.
suit.
Okay. Yeah, that
Like when,
tracks.
like, I guess, I mean, I didn't notice it, but
Mm.
they claim during the scene where the dogs
Yeah,
were attacking the boar.
that's where I started to question it. Because, yeah, I think some of the movements were a little artificial. I thought maybe it was, I didn't
Yeah,
think it was a person in a suit. I was thinking maybe I'm an animatronic, but given the movie's budget, person in a suit makes more sense, I think. Um, at the beginning of the movie, Bella makes a lot of cracks about Ricky's weight.
yes,
As someone who was a fat kid, I thought that was a little inappropriate, but I love that she bought him a copy of Animal Farm. She buys him a bunch of books, and one of them that he brings with him is Animal Farm.
and it was kind of out of left field that she would make such weight references, but
Mm-hmm.
just it was the kind of the shock of just she's this nice woman and like you
Mm.
know
Also, visually, this movie is stunning. I mean, it's New Zealand, so of course, but and it's set in the bush. But yeah, there are some incredible nature shots in this movie.
yeah, the plot is so intimate, but
Yeah,
the scenery is so ginormous,
majestical.
majestical, which is a word. I mean, when they were questioning, I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure I've heard that. In fact,
You've
I
probably
think
heard people use it, but I don't think it's correct. I think I'm on
I
Ricky's side here.
well, I think I know I heard it with cats, of
Uh-huh.
course, because how many things can rhyme with jellicle?
Well, yeah, yeah.
But Mrs. Scotto had to look it up
Oh, she did.
because
Okay.
and it was used in Hamlet, the
Oh, wow.
opening
Okay.
scene.
Okay.
Horatio describes it as majestic. The ghost is majestical as he left.
Okay. I won't argue with the bard then.
Yeah, he made up a lot of words, but they are words.
I'm glad I follow a lot of British creators, so I understood what the water bottle was for. Because they do actually serve a purpose
Oh,
in other countries where heating and air conditioning is kind of iffy in houses.
yeah.
I didn't never really knew that. I mean, of course, I've seen him in cartoons and old movies, but I never really knew the purpose of him. Um,
I, of course, generate so much heat on my own that I've
uh,
never needed anything like that. I always run hot.
Loved Ricky's reaction when Bella dropped the dead animal in front of him. She's basically trying to get him to be productive and help her with some taxidermy. She drops it, just this dead rodent. I don't know, weasel or not weevil. That's a bug. Weasel or something of that nature in front of him. And he just his eyes pop. He doesn't say anything, but his eyes just pop.
Man, the scene where she
I was just getting there. She takes down a boar with a fucking knife.
takes down the boar with a knife
Like you said, she's the nicest old woman you could imagine. And then she takes down a fucking boar with a knife.
without like blinking an eye of like, oh, this is gonna be tasty.
I was suddenly very jealous of Heck.
That's right, Heck couldn't quite do it with the
Uh,
knife when it came back to it.
some of the montages have a bit of a Wes Anderson feel, which I think is interesting. Like, I think
Definitely,
Waititi
yeah.
was going for a Wes Anderson vibe.
This definitely has the whole the kids,
Mm.
off on their own kind of thing.
Love how sudden and unexplained Bella's death is. They never give a cause of death. They barely even say she died.
Yeah, it's all Sam Neill selling it too.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't do much before that scene either.
No.
So you're just like, wait, what? kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're kind of in the shoes of Ricky
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that scene of just kind of like, what has happened to this nice woman?
And they don't explain it ever after that. We never get a cause of
No.
death or anything. It's just a shock, and it is the realistic shock and awe of actual death, which was
Yeah.
captured beautifully.
And just like the whole Ricky finding a home there, like that
Mm-hmm.
that birthday
Yeah.
scene before it and everything too, which by the way, they couldn't use. It was the whole thing with the copyright
Uh huh.
to the
Birthday
birthday
song. Yeah.
song. So he writes the song
Yeah.
and, and the credits and everything too. And it was so much better than if they had just used the stupid
Mm-hmm.
birthday song.
Yeah. Yeah. Not sure how I feel about going from the shock of Bella's death to Waititi's cameo as that ridiculous priest. Just they go from this brutal death to this completely ridiculous, over the top comedic scene.
I think that's what I think that's what makes it funny. And he's just such a psycho.
Yeah.
I it reminded me of Rowan
Mm-hmm.
Atkinson's, Four
Yeah.
Weddings
Oh,
and a
yeah. That's what
Funeral
I was
thing.
trying to think of. Yes. I knew I was thinking of something.
Only this guy was, I mean, that was just a bumbling idiot.
Uh huh.
This guy was psycho.
Yeah.
And just the whole, what's on the other side of the door?
Mm-hmm.
He's a sneaky one. What? He said that was from a real experience, by the
Wow.
way.
After Ricky runs away the second time, the last time, uh, loved when he's heating the water bottle over the fire and it bursts and puts out the fire.
Yeah.
Then there was a nice Looney Tunes reference when, just before Heck finds him, he suddenly sees this cake in the middle of the bush, and then we see it's actually the dog. And then a hamburger, a giant hamburger, starts talking to him, and that's Heck.
It is like the fat guy and the skinny guy on the
Yeah.
desert island.
Uh huh.
There you
Ricky's explanation of Hector making him kind of pull his own weight, perfectly written as an innuendo.
go. And I love the scene of they're getting out of there, and he's like, "Do you know what that sounded like?" And it finally
Yeah, he
hits him. He's
finally
like,
realized.
"Oh
He's like, "Oh
no!"
shit." I mean, that's normally like your humor, but
Yeah,
it was just so perfectly written. I had to respect it,
yeah,
because if you know what's happened thus far in the movie, what the kid's saying makes perfect sense.
right.
But if you don't, it sounds like X been molesting him. Um,
Well, make me do things.
yeah.
But of course, to a kid,
Uh huh.
just having to do any
Right.
sort of
Of
chore
course.
is made me do things.
Right. The ranger in the second hut not being quite dead yet was very Waititi.
Right. Not sure how Heck could have kept him alive all that time, but
Huh. And the sidetrack with the girl, I want to say Kahu was her name. Uh, just as I thought that was going on way too long, they established it went on way too long. He ends up staying the night. Of course, he develops a massive crush on her.
yeah. And that flaky bar ad.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if
Flake
that's
bar,
yeah.
sorry.
Is that the same as the British flake? Like that
Yes,
they
it
put in
is.
ice cream all the time. Okay, yeah,
In fact, my first thing of a sponsor was just the
yeah,
actual
yeah. Flake bar,
slogan.
right?
Just because why not?
Liked the graphic when the cop was talking about the stingray. It's this radio device that will pick up Ricky's cell phone if he tries to, connect to these towers. Uh,
Yeah, all too aware of those. They're talking
mm-hmm.
about a certain enforcement
Uh-huh.
agency using them right now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're
But they cut to like this advertisement graphic when the cop is talking to them. It's the only time in the movie they break the fourth wall like that. And I really wanted something bad to happen to Paula, the woman from foster services. I just hated her.
right. For a while, I was thinking, like, is she Ricky's mom? Because, the picture did look like a young version of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nice to get an explanation of the title a little more than halfway through the movie. But
Yeah.
here's something I have to nitpick. Yes, I'm being obnoxiously pedantic with this, but there's no R in wildebeest. Wilderpeople is supposed to come from wildebeest because Ricky had heard this thing about wildebeest trekking thousands of miles, and so he refers to him and Heck as the Wilderpeople. And with a New Zealand accent, it sounds the same. It's Wilde. There's no rhotic R,
Yeah.
but it's written Wilder in the title of the movie, even though there's no R in wildebeest. Just
Hmm.
kind of annoyed me. Um,
I wonder if the kid had just kind of put it together.
Maybe.
I think that was probably the point. It was just it's not going to be perfect because
Oh yeah, yeah.
neither one of these two people.
Right, right. Fair point. Fair point.
I think it's the interesting thing about this movie is at first you think it's, an opposites kind of thing,
Uh-huh.
but the more you see it, it's like, wait a minute, these two are exactly
Yeah,
alike in
yeah,
so
yeah.
many
Uh-huh.
ways. You know, just the whole running off, on
Mm-hmm.
their own
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And they don't deny that. They eventually come to that place of realizing how
Yeah,
similar they are. It does an incredible job of mixing comedy, drama, action, even a little bit
yeah.
of romance. It's just this beautiful melding of all these genres. Um,
And the romance part is just absurd.
yeah,
It's like
right.
the chocolate ad and the wind. It's
Yeah. Well, it's a 13-year-old's crush. It's if you've ever
right.
been
And
a
he just kind of,
well, we've all been a 13-year-old with a crush.
yeah,
It does it perfectly.
and he just kind of stares.
Yeah. Um, I was going to mention the Lord of the Rings reference, but then they had to call it out. I
Exactly.
was slightly annoyed by that. It would have been
Yeah.
better if they just left it in there or left it alone.
But it's funny because he's pantomiming this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it does not look like that's what he's doing. By the way,
Right.
the gesture he does with the ring on the finger, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
wait, what? And then when they go away, and Heck is like, "What the fuck were you? What was that?" And when he says it, it's kind of like, "Oh, okay, you fucking idiot." And also, Julia Dennison's acting for a kid that
Oh yeah,
age,
brilliant.
god damn, yes. I definitely want to see more things with
Yeah,
him in it.
the actor who plays Ricky.
Yeah,
Um, Now this was based on a 1986 novel, Wild Pork and Watercress by Barry Crumb. I love that Psycho Sam's truck is named after the author of the book. The truck is named Crumpy.
yeah.
But then it suddenly turns into GTA. Like, why would the military be involved with a manhunt for this kid?
Just this bananas,
Uh,
final closing chase scene of, yeah, him, the kid driving like an idiot.
like if you've ever, and this was when I played GTA, one of my favorite things was to steal a bus and just run shit over and like, get all kinds of stars. And the military will eventually come after you.
That's kind of like sneaky Sasquatch now.
Ha! So when they find out the military is after them, it kind of reminded me of that, and it just seemed odd. Um, I was glad to see the cop who was constantly with Paula kind of put her in her place toward the end of the movie. She does the whole
Yeah,
Miranda, you have a right to remain silent when they finally pick up the heck, and he tells her like, cops in New Zealand don't really say that. That's an American thing, and also you're not a cop.
I like how he's just been kind of along for the ride throughout the whole thing of just munching on a scroggin
Mm-hmm.
through like I don't know how many acts of the film he's just in with the same like plastic bag and
Yeah,
just munching away while she's like doing all this thing. And then he saves the day in the end.
yeah. And at first, I thought it was Tamara Morrison because they look a lot alike.
I thought that was him too. How awesome would that have been? But yeah, he just like, oh, there's actual danger here, and he like gets off his ass and does something. And it's never even mentioned that he like saves the day. It's just you just have to think about that, like, wait a minute. If it wasn't for him, this would have been a horrible ending.
Yeah. And it was nice to see Hector learning to read at the end.
Yeah, it is tough for an adult to
Yeah, oh
learn to
yeah.
read.
Oh, especially like Sam Neill was in his late 70s when he passed. This movie's a decade old, so he was, in his
Yeah.
late 60s finally learning to read. That's amazing. No sequels or remakes because there's no room for a sequel, and it's too early for a remake, and I don't know if I'd want a remake.
Oh no, no, no remake of this. And of course, with no sequels,
Mm-hmm.
because rest in peace, Sam
Oh,
Neill.
that too, that too. Um, on the brains,
On the brains.
it's an easy five.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just man, so much. The two of them acting off each other in this just amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you throw in just some of the oddball characters throughout. You can't go wrong with Reese Darby.
Mm-hmm. And what have you learned?
That chocolate flake bar, where, it really makes impression on the fat kid in your life.
And I learned what the knack is, and I don't mean the band. Um,
Uh,
and that's it for Hunt for the Wilderpeople. Until next time, when we'll be reviewing In the Mouth of Madness for the part two of the Sam Neill tribute. John Carpenter, Sam Neill. We have to do this. This movie, Hunt for the Wilderpeople, is the tribute that Sam Neill deserved.
I mean, there's so many things you could give for
Yeah.
him. Like I
Mm.
said, the first thing I saw him in was that Omen 3. I think
Uh,
I saw Omen 3 before the other Omens actually, where he's the, grown-up
uh,
Antichrist. And then of course, Hunt for Red October. Just amazing in that.
In the Mouth of Madness is our tribute. It's the
Yeah.
movie we would do, and I think that might have been the first thing I saw him in, Mouth of Madness, like
Oh yeah.
on TV back in the '90s.
Wow.
Until then, of course, always remember, never forget, wherever you go in life, there
There
you
you are.
are.